Sounds good. Well, we'll jump in. So, hello, Cougar Nation. Welcome to Zoom In with the Cougs, featuring the BYU women's soccer team. Thanks for tuning in from wherever you are. My name's Elena Anderson. I'm a former BYU women's soccer player, and I'll be the moderator today. So, we've got an elite group here that we're going to talk with. They are coming off one of the best seasons in BYU women's soccer history. They won a WCC championship last year, 21-1 record, and capped it off with a crazy Elite Eight run. So on the call today, we have head coach Jennifer Rockwood, assistant coach Brent Anderson, assistant coach Steve Magleby, and then members of the senior class, Makaylie Moore, Cameron Tucker, Michaela Coulihan, Josie Guinn, Cass Smith, and we also have sophomore Jamie Shepard here. So welcome, guys. For fans tuning in throughout this call, you're welcome to submit any questions below and in the Q&A section. So we'll be pulling questions that have been previously submitted as well as live. So maybe just to start off, Jen, do you want to give us an update on how the team's doing, where you guys are at? How has this whole quarantine shifted how you're coaching your team right now?
Yeah, just for everyone, it's been quite an experience. You know, we got our first spring season game down in Las Vegas against UNLV and Cal State Northridge. And then that very next week is when kind of everything ended up shutting down. And, you know, BYU asked students to go home, and they finished up on online, and obviously didn't have any more practices or any more games. And we had a big Europe trip planned for 95 people to head over to Europe to do some sightseeing, some learning about history and culture, and playing a few soccer games. So obviously very different than what we had intended, but I think everyone's doing their part and doing the best that they can. And everyone was able to go home and spend a lot of good time, quality time with their family. We've just been keeping in touch with the girls, you know, every week, and just, you know, they've got their workouts going, their strength and conditioning workouts, and trying to do a lot of stuff on their own. And it's a great time for them to, you know, be accountable for the individual responsibilities that they have. And like I said, we've met as a team and we've stayed in contact. And I think everyone, just like everyone around the country, is kind of anxious to hopefully get back on campus and get training again and get ready for the upcoming season.
Yeah, that's great. Let's talk about a little bit more about, you mentioned strength and conditioning, doing a lot on your own. Let's start off with Makaylie and Cam. What are some of the things you guys are doing to stay in shape and stay sharp on your skills with the ball?
Well, our trainer, Terrell, he sent us like a summer conditioning packet. So every week we have different conditioning to do, and also like weightlifting stuff to do. So that's what we do to stay like fit.
As far as soccer, we kind of just do things as much as we can on our own. We've tried to get together in some small groups and just keep our footwork and like touches up. But it's obviously kind of hard, but we go and shoot and do things as much as we can with the resources that we have.
Great, love it. Makaylie, could you speak to, we had a question come in. So obviously the physical part of the game is really important, but I think even more important now that everyone's a little bit isolated, keeping your mental game really sharp is important. So what have you been doing to stay mentally sharp? What has the team been doing to make sure that your mental game is ready to go come fall season?
Well, here at BYU, we actually meet with Maddie and Craig, and they are both in charge of our mental strength. And so they have a journal that we use before practices and games, just to kind of keep our trainings very focused and things. And I've also found in quarantine, like, to not go crazy, I've just started writing in a regular journal just to kind of keep myself organized, plan things throughout the day to make sure like I'm using my time wisely, getting my homework done. But I think that mental strength is a huge part of the game. It can kind of give you that edge that you need at this high of a level. And so I really encourage like planning out just some things that you want to focus on, whether it's like a soft first touch or following through on your shots before each training, and that has really helped me improve.
That's great. Yeah, the nice thing about soccer is sometimes you just only need a little bit of stage fright to get some footwork in, so lots of stuff people can do on their own. We had a question come in specifically for goalies. So Cass, could you speak to this? Someone asked, are there any specific goalie drills to do for younger kids right now?
Yeah, I feel like goalkeeping is one of the things that it's super hard to do by yourself, because you need someone shooting on you or giving you reps. So the thing I've been trying to focus on is just making sure I can control what I can control. So I'm focusing on my handwork, whether it's getting a wall and going and throwing it against the wall or kicking against the wall, and just making sure my hands are nice and sharp. And focusing on footwork and my distribution. Those are all things I can control. And then as things have started to open up, getting smaller groups and just trying to test myself in that way and do the drills I can do. So it's definitely harder as a goalkeeper right now, but there's still lots you can do and lots we can control, and just focusing on the basics.
Love it. Maybe Coach Magleby or Coach Anderson. So coming off kind of one of the most historic seasons in BYU women's soccer history, what sort of expectations do you have for the team this year, specifically maybe for the senior group as you're entering your preparation for the fall season?
Steve, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. We were really excited for this spring, and then with everything going on, it's just kind of thrown us for a different loop. But we have a great group of seniors that are great leaders and great players on the field, and we expect a lot out of them. And we got a lot of depth coming in this year, so we're expecting big things. We lost a lot of players from last year, but this is just a reloading year. We're going to bring in a lot of experience and bring in some players that have improved and gotten better, and I think we're going to have a great season. We're just trying to figure out what that season is going to look like. Hopefully we'll figure that out here pretty soon, but our girls are working hard and they're prepared to do the best that they can with the situation that they've been given.
Elena, we did, like Jen said, we got to get a little bit of competition in. Down in Las Vegas, we played UNLV and we played Northridge, and you could see really the team didn't look like they were really missing anybody. The players had stepped up. We were connecting really well around the field. We were still attacking really well as we went forward. And defensively, I don't know if we really allowed any clean looks at our goals. So I know it was only 2 games from the spring that we were able to get in, but what we saw was very promising. With the players that we have returning and the new players that Steve was talking about, we expect to be very, very competitive this fall as we get going again.
Absolutely. That's always exciting as a coach to see kind of the new fresh blood, right? And every team's different, so that's really exciting. Josie Guinn, so this question comes from Jimmy McGill. How important is team chemistry, and how do you hope to develop it quickly without everyone together right now?
Hey, how's it going, man?
I think that team chemistry is one of the most important things a team can have. For us, I feel like one of the reasons why we were super successful last year was because of our team chemistry and how good of friends we were off the field. And I just feel like that translates onto the field. Like, that you're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for your teammates because you love them. So I really think that team chemistry is a crucial aspect to a good team. And for us, I feel like in quarantine, everyone being kind of separated can be kind of hard to keep building that chemistry. But for our team, there's some cool ideas that we've had that we're doing, and we're meeting once a week and having like a book club for, I don't know if you guys have heard it. It's called the Energy Bus. And so we just kind of meet once a week and get together and see each other and chat. And I feel like that's a good way to keep everyone connected. But overall, I think that team chemistry is really important to the success of a team.
Jamie, so this question comes in from Nora Allen. What's your favorite move to do in a game? What's your go-to, this is the Jamie Shepherd move?
That's tricky. I wouldn't consider myself very saucy with a bunch of moves, but I think one of my favorites, and it's pretty simple to do, is probably just a shoulder dip, just a little feint to one side, getting the defenders going that way, and then going the other way. So not very complex, but just a little shoulder feint. So
I love it. I feel like the moves that usually work the most are the simple ones. So that's awesome. You're really good at that one. Maybe Coach Jen, talk to us about, this question comes in from Devin Kimball. How do your tactics change from season to season? And, even game to game. What does that look like for you as a head coach?
Yeah, as we prepare for each season, we like to take a look at obviously who's returning and what positions need to kind of be filled from our seniors who graduated, what our team's strengths are, where our strengths are, and our job as coaches is to try and find a position that is most effective for the player. And we have moved some positions around. As Josie came in as a striker, an attacking player, we turned her into an outside back, one of the best there is. So, I mean, that's kind of part of our job is to find a good fit for the players, and then kind of see where those strengths lie as far as the team. And so, we've played a lot of different types of formations over the years. These last 2 years, we've played something completely different than what we have played in the past, and we were able to find a lot of good success, obviously, tremendous success this year with it. But right now, with who we have coming back and who we have coming in, we might be looking at a different formation, and that's something that we worked on for January and February as much as we could before everything kind of got shut down. And so really just looking at where our strengths are, learning from some of the things from the previous season that we can improve upon. I think there's different characteristics that are similar no matter what formation we play tactically. But we're a very high energy team. We press pretty much for 90 minutes, which is also unique for most teams in Division I. We are able to do that because of the preparation that our players put in prior to coming with their fitness. And also the depth of our team allows us to expect players to be all out for their time on the field. So I think, things like we love to attack, whether it's from the center, whether it's from the outside backs, whether it's direct or through combination play. We like to keep the ball. We like to control the flow of the game. We love to attack with our back line. We like to, these are all things that I think have been consistent over the years, even though our formation might change a little bit with some of those tactics. So, but really looking forward to, I'll just kind of go back to what Steve and Brent had said about expectations. We have an amazing group of players coming back, some great leaders, some great experience. We have some young players last year that maybe didn't play a ton of minutes because of how strong some of our seniors were, and they are more than ready to go. So as Steve mentioned, we see this as just a reloading year. And the expectation of winning our conference and doing well in the NCAA tournament, being nationally relevant, those goals all stay the same for this coming fall.
Great. This one's from Makaylie and Cam. Obviously, senior veterans, you scored a lot of goals in your career. Talk to us about what's been one of your most memorable goals you've scored.
Do you know?
You go first.
I'm still thinking.
One of mine was probably against Santa Clara, not this past year, but the season before, just because it was kind of the game that determined conference, and it was a big game, and we had a lot of people there, and it was at home, so it was just an exciting atmosphere.
I would say mine was probably my first collegiate goal at Penn State. It was like one of our very first games, and Kayla assisted me on it, so it was like super fun that she assisted me, and it was like my first goal. So that was probably mine.
That's awesome. First goals are always the most memorable. I love it. This one's for Cass. So talk to us. When did you decide to play soccer in college? How old were you? What was the thought process for you, and why BYU?
I grew up a Cougar fan. My parents both went to BYU. And so BYU soccer was always kind of ingrained in me. I've wanted to play at BYU since I was probably 8 years old. So for me, it wasn't really an option of, are you playing college soccer? That was kind of like always the goal from the beginning. And so, yeah, I just kind of always knew that and just worked really hard to try and make it a reality and get here. So
love it. Born BYU, always loving it. That's great. Jamie, talk to us. The schedule of a student athlete is obviously unlike any other. Can you talk to everyone about what does your typical schedule look like, and what are you doing, let's just say, in the off season?
Are you talking, so my schedule in the off season, so not during school, you mean?
Let's talk about school. So yeah, what does a typical day look like when you're in school, having to go to practice, all of that?
Definitely as a freshman coming in, entering into like this whole new schedule is tough because it's really busy and we're constantly doing stuff. But the day normally just consisted of like a couple things. Every day was wake up, going to classes, and then going to the study hall and just studying and getting hours in for, and then right after we studied, we just go to practice and practice our soccer and do workouts. And then by the end of that, we were just tired and wanted to go home, and we'd just eat and then probably go to bed and restart. So pretty busy, but it's a good time. So lots of studying and soccer over and over.
This one's for Coach Anderson and Coach Rockwood as well. We've had a ton of questions coming about recruiting. Can you talk to us about what does recruiting look like right now? How has this whole pandemic impacted how you guys are finding people you're looking at and finding new potential future BYU soccer players?
Well, right now we're in the middle of a NCAA dead period, so it stops us from bringing people onto campus, and it stops us from, there really isn't anything going on off campus either as far as tournaments or looking at players. So right now we are receiving a lot of email from recruits, and they're sending in video of them doing personal workouts and doing fitness, and just keeping us posted on what they're doing during this, during the COVID, and how they're staying in shape and getting their touches. And so, we're keeping notes obviously on all the girls that we've watched over the past year, and looking forward to hearing from them and looking forward to seeing them back out on the field once we're able to get out and watch them compete again.
Yeah, and maybe to add on to that, Jen, could you speak about, obviously there's not a lot of recruiting going on right now, but say when the time does come, what do you look for in players that you see as you're building your program through the years?
Yeah, I'll just start with kind of the present right now. It's obviously everybody's everything's slowed down, and we feel bad for the 2021s and 2022s that normally during this time of year we're out and about, and all the coaches are watching and evaluating and meeting and talking with some of these kids, and I think it's important to note that those kids need to not panic yet. There's only so much you have control over, and right now the recruiting aspect and all you have control over is continuing to prove individually. And I know here in Utah and a lot of other states, some teams have just got the okay under certain restrictions to kind of get back to their training. And so, I would assume that recruiting would slow down a little bit this year, just because of the situation we're in. And as college coaches, we did lose a lot of evaluation time. There's talk of extending the dead period even a little bit longer because of the situation. And so that might, again, postpone decisions and offers and commitments, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that having more time to make decisions and to evaluate, I think that's a positive thing. And for us, we're looking for players who can come in and help our program out immediately. And I think all college coaches they go to the fields and they watch players and evaluate them, and looking for those who really stand out and make a difference through whether it's their work rate, their leadership, their passion. You can tell when players love the game just by watching them. And then after evaluating, having the opportunity to get to know them a little bit more through their personality and see what some of their goals are and see if they might be a good fit for your program. There's a lot of time involved in recruiting. And I think as coaches, we spend, it's amazing how much time we do spend trying to build the program and bring in great players to continue to add to the legacy that those before have already set. So yeah, it is quite a process, but just want to encourage the younger kids to try and not panic too much. You just can't control when the green light's going to go again. And so I just think college coaches are also going to be taking their time a little bit more and waiting for opportunities to get to know and become more familiar with the athletes.
This one's for Makaylie. A lot of questions have come in about nutrition. So what do you do for nutrition, or what does the team do to stay not only physically fit, but eat healthy and keep your body strong?
We meet with a nutritionist, so she kind of gives us ideas, but we have a meal card that we can use on campus, so I know a lot of the girls use that. The best thing that like I've done during quarantine and stuff is just like grilled up some chicken and just like ate protein. But I would say the biggest thing is like now is try not to like snack or like eat treats if you're just sitting at home and not doing anything, because you get bored, and I find myself just doing homework and maybe like snacking on some things. So I would just say being disciplined and like making sure you plan out your meals so you can kind of get all the food groups in there. But I think nutrition's always something that people can work on.
Definitely. And being in quarantine, it's a lot harder. The fridge just stares at you all day. So that's great. Maybe this one's for Josie. Talk to us. A lot of people have talked about drills to help improve either their game or their first touch. Do you have any small-sided drills you recommend to help younger players kind of get their first touch down and keep their technical footwork up?
Yeah, for sure. There's lots of things that you can do with not a lot of space to work on your first touch. So I think what Cass was talking about with her hands, just playing a ball against a wall even right now, can apply to us as soccer players with our feet too. So just anything you can do to get touches. I really enjoy, I think we do this a lot in practice to kind of get started and warm up. We kind of just rondo and we play keep away and like 3v1 or 4v1, one person in the middle. And I really think that helps with getting people engaged and first touches and making sure you're clean and crisp with anything. So I think small drills like that can actually be some of the most beneficial ones because that's where you're getting a lot of touches.
Love it. This one's for Makayla. Who would you say is the funniest player on the team?
I might be a little bit biased, but Cam, obviously. She's been my roommate the whole time that I've been at BYU, and we were friends for a long time before that as well. And she has the best sense of humor and makes everyone laugh. So
that's awesome. Cam, who would you say is the best dancer on the team? So a lot of fans, if you don't know, we've got quite the dancing crew on this team. Lots of fun TikToks and videos. But if you had to choose one person, who's the best one?
I don't know, like obviously the twins are like good at dancing, like they're the best, like they look the best while they dance, but I would say like the funniest person to watch dance would probably be like Nat Clark or sometimes Kayla, even Josie. Like I think everyone on our team just like is funny dancing, but definitely the twins are like the best dancers.
I love it. But if anyone hasn't seen their TikToks, they're pretty good, so go check them out. Another question coming in. So maybe talking specifically, we know you guys are doing workouts, but a lot of questions coming in about what specifically are you guys doing for workouts? Obviously, there's no equipment available. So maybe, Cass, you could speak to this. Are your workouts, are you using things around the house? Is it a lot of body weight? What do your workouts look like right now?
Yeah, it's actually been pretty interesting. I feel like I'm in some of the best shape I've ever been in because I don't have much else to do. So it's just a lot of working out. But I think there's so much you can do. Some specific things we're doing as a team is we have things called repeat runs. So they're 60-yard sprints, and then you have 40 seconds to jog back and 10 seconds to run 60 yards. So those are really good, and they really apply to the game because it's a longer sprint, and then you get a small recovery. Some other fitness and workouts we're doing, our strength and conditioning coach has given us different lifts we can do at home, and so a lot of it involves picking up something heavy at home and doing some lunges, or still working on our plyo work, so a lot of jumping and still trying to activate those muscles. Even though it might not be in a gym or with a barbell, there's still so much we can do. I still find that I'm sore almost every day just from finding heavy things around the house and still doing the work. So those are some of our main things, our main workouts. We have a lot. In addition to those, we do some long runs. We just get outside and do a 35-minute run. I'm trying to think what else. it's usually a couple lifts a week and then a couple runs each week. And then the in-between off days, we're usually on the field getting our touches in. So
that's great. I feel like a lot of teams have had to get real creative with what workouts look like. So that's great. Sounds like it's working pretty well. This is again another personnel question. So who is the fastest on the team, would you say, Josie?
I don't even know. That's a really loaded question because there's so many fast people on the team. I don't even know where to start.
Name some of your fastest people.
Okay, well, obviously Cam's pretty insanely fast. She'll run by anyone. Yeah, and oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even really know what to even say because last year I feel like there were so many fast people. You had like Lizzie, Bing, Elise, just like people who use their speed as a major part of their game. I feel like our team is overall a really fast team, and that's like a big part of why we're successful is because of the athleticism and the speed that we have. So I don't even, just to list a few, like Brinley is really fast, and Cam, Kayla, just like everyone, I swear, is so fast. That's a really fun part about the team because you think you're fast and then you're running against someone and they're sticking right with you.
I love it. That's great. Maybe specifically for the coaches right now, what are the conversations like with players? How are you still trying to keep everyone together, unified, even though everyone's separately doing their own thing in quarantine right now?
I'll start, Brent, and then you can finish up. I think one of the things that's important during this time is as we graduated a lot of seniors and we graduated our captains, that kind of that leadership responsibility is something that we do spend a lot of time on in the off season. And we do have great leaders, but we have new captains this coming year. Josie, Cass, and Kayla as our captains, and everyone else on the screen, Kaylee and Cam and Jamie are part of our leadership council, and just kind of putting a lot of the ownership on them and keeping the team motivated and setting clear expectations and keeping everybody accountable and excited. So I think a lot of that goes to, you have to have that within the team. You know, there's only so much we can do as coaches. We try and do what we can, but a lot of it during this time of year where we're limited on training and being with them and coaching and evaluating, that's something that they kind of have to start doing amongst themselves. And I think it's a great time for our new leaders and our freshmen who aren't freshmen anymore, kind of take on that responsibility as well. I think that's something that's really important right now, is them on their own, staying connected, communicating, and we have some different times where we're meeting in smaller groups to encourage and facilitate a lot more interaction. And so I think that's gone really well too. So between the captains and leadership council and our book club groups, and our tactical type discussions we're having, good stuff's happening.
Yeah, like Jen said, it really is. It's part of the team culture. The team is connected already, and even though we're separated, we're social distancing and things. I think they're doing a really good job. The leadership council and the captains have done a really good job of touching base. I don't know if it's every other day or once a week, but they're touching base with all the players. Every day we get something from Jen or Steve or something, we get something sent out to all the team, and they're responding. We do have a book club like Jen talked about. We're reading a book and we're in smaller groups discussing that. So it's, it is a unique time obviously with COVID, but we're also in a time where we would naturally be training on our own right now. And so the girls have done this before. They've trained on their own. They know the expectations. They know the level that they have to be at. So as they're working, they're also checking in with their teammates and making sure they're working, they're helping each other. So it really does come down to the team culture and how we're connected long before this ever happened. So you can see that I think we're in a really good place right now, and the team is simply preparing for the fall.
Yeah, and maybe just to wrap up this conversation, it's been so fun to catch up with everyone, but last question we have as we look towards the fall. Let's just go quickly through each of the players. What are you most excited about for this 2020 season? Let's start with Makaylie.
I'm just excited to be playing with my best friends. It'll be my senior year, and so just enjoying every moment, every practice, every game, and just kind of soaking it all up.
Josie?
Yeah, pretty similar to what Makaylie said. Just enjoying every moment and the competitive aspect of collegiate soccer. It's so fun to be a part of a university like this and just to be part of the team culture that we have. And yeah, just to compete every single day, because I think after college, I don't know where else we're going to be able to compete the way we do and have a fun time doing it.
Jamie?
I think I'm starting to get really excited just to see all these last couple months, the practices that we've had over the spring season, just seeing our potential and everything that we have going for us, and just being able to come out and play with all of the best friends and the awesome team that we have is just really exciting.
Awesome. We'll go Cass, Cam, and then Kayla.
Yeah, I feel like mine's really similar, but I'm just really excited to see all of the hard work pay off and to see how the workouts now and the discipline and the focus over the last handful of years, and then just as well as this last spring season and this quarantine time, just pay off and come together. And there's a lot of moments during the season behind the scenes, like travel time and time together as a team that is irreplaceable, and you just make the best memories. So along with competing and getting out there and trying to be our best, there's also a lot of memories that don't happen anywhere else. So just super excited for those.
Yeah, I would say mine is similar too. Like, I'm so excited to be back out there with my best friends, and I'm so excited to start playing games again and having that atmosphere and seeing like all of our fans. Like, that's one of the funnest parts, is seeing all the support we get. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, just being back at Southfield, and I think that a lot of people kind of have question marks about our team this year, and so I'm excited to prove a lot of people wrong and just defend the WCC title again.
Awesome. Well, we'll end on that, but thank you, everyone. Thanks to the team and coaches as well as Cougar Nation for tuning in. Really excited to see what this team can do this year, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone in Southfield in the fall. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks.
Go Cougs!
Thanks.